Hey, my name is Mohan, I'm the CMO of Naron.
My name is Luca, and I'm the CEO of Naron.
Luca, we're starting to get into more advanced concepts when it comes to AI. In this video, let's talk about harnesses. And I think the best way to start the topic is to actually speak of some of the most popular harnesses that are out there and people might be aware of right now.
For sure. So one of the most popular harnesses right now is Claude Code and OpenAI's Codex. So they are both coding agent harnesses, which essentially means a harness is anything outside of the model that gives it all of its capabilities, all of its guardrails. It's sort of like the body that the AI agent is able to come into to perform actions in the real world. And so if you look over here, we can actually see the difference between a model is that it provides typically only text responses and stuff like that. Whereas a model that is inside of a harness, as you can see over here, can actually start taking more actions. Some of these actions could be like opening up a browser, running some code in a terminal, actually executing some Python code, editing a file, maybe even like finding the file. So one of the early use cases of coding agents were that they weren't able to really traverse the code base to find exactly which file they should edit. And so Codex and Claude Code came out with this grepping feature. Grepping is just essentially this ability to search for a file across hundreds of files with sort of common keywords. And instead of using a lot of like intelligence to do some very fancy searching across a code base, they can actually execute a little piece of code which actually just goes and searches for all of that stuff. So if you, for example, need to edit a notifications feature, well, you would search for all files that have the word notification in it. That build of like, how do you actually build that grepping feature is part of the harness that now Claude Code and Codex use. You would not have that feature if you just gave a model some basic tools, like looking at the web and stuff like that.
So aside from giving the model tools, what else does a harness do?
It's responsible also for permissions, environments, and action loops. So what do these mean? When looking at permissions, for example, the permission for a model to use a production database or to use a staging database is something that the harness will control. So production is where your critical knowledge is stored, and staging is essentially just like a mock-up of what your data would look like. The difference of what a model can do and what a model cannot do is built inside the harness itself. So the second that the harness sees that it's attempting to access the production database, it'll actually stop it. A lot of these things are actually built into the harnesses like Claude Code and Codex, preventing you from doing things that OpenAI and Anthropic don't want you to do. Other than permissions, it's the actual environment which it's running in. So all in all, the word harness actually comes from climbing. You can have a really good climber, they can climb really quickly, but in order for the climber to be safe during a climb, it needs to be in a harness. It needs to be in something that keeps it safe, keeps it under control. It also has the mechanism to, if in case the climber in this case falls, to actually catch them and bring them back up to where they were. So in our case, it would be if the model does something wrong and be able to revert back and do things like that.
So far, we've kind of covered the coding harness with Claude Code and Codex. What are some other types of harnesses out there?
Yeah, so you can have a research harness, for example. The research harness will actually guide the model towards more of a research application, like looking at specific citations and documentation, actually requiring for citations to be part of the work that it's running. And so what really differentiates the harnesses are whether the tools are reliable. So if you have too many tools, too little tools, if all of the tools are third party, then perhaps not as reliable. Codex and Claude Code, they build a lot of their tools in-house for their harness. For example, if the permissions are too vague or the permissions are too tight, that's also what kind of differentiates a good harness from a bad harness. And another really big one is observability. The ability to essentially see how the LLM is performing during the run with the user. Some really big harnesses like Claude Code give Anthropic a lot of information about what exactly is happening through the run, through the session in this case, what the AI agent is thinking about, how exactly is it using the tools, and that's what actually helps further improving the harness down the road.
Another concept that's very close to what a harness is an orchestrator.
Yep.
So in the next video, we'll dive deeper into that and how those two things work hand in hand. For the time being, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to our newsletter, links down in the description below. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, where we're very active on a day-to-day basis. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.